My first trip to LA was not what I thought, because I came and I'm like, wait, the Hollywood sign is like on the mountains, like I can't go there. I'm not like Miley Cyrus. I didn't hop up the plane on LAX with my dream and my cardigan. Like, that was not me. Hey Teen Vogue, it's Stephanie Poetri, and today I'll be sharing with you some of my first times. The first time I was starstruck was when I met Wang. Because usually, like, my mom introduces me to a lot of like her famous friends and I'm always like, what's up? But with Jackson, that was a whole other thing, because like I had his posters, like I was into, but he was really nice about it, so I think I like did well in terms of like not showing my excitement, but that was like the most I've ever been tested in terms of keeping my cool. So my first time meeting Wang was in the studio. We were just, you know, taking pictures or whatever, but I came in and he was like really good looking. I was like, wow. But not just that, he was really nice too, and I was like, wow. When you meet someone famous, you'll kind of have this idea in your head, like, are they gonna be like what they look like on TV and stuff? And he is even more nice and even more funny than like what he is on TV. Really randomly, my first thought was like this song I did a long time ago. That's a little bit of that. Just a random melody I made when I was like 14, and then it just came back to me to this morning. The first app I check every day is actually the alarm app, because I always put more than one. I have like at least 10 every 5-minute intervals. The first text I sent today was to my lovely manager. It was just like, yo, she was like, good morning, and I was like, Liza. The first person I text when something exciting happens is actually not one person. I have this like group of me and my girls, like my high school best friends. You know, it's just like, what's up? Like, check where I'm at. And then they'll be like, cool. We don't care about cool. Oh my gosh. The first book I remember reading, this is so like cliche, but it's Looking for Alaska by John Gray. And I just remember being so sad and being like, ah. Mostly because also my life is like kind of boring in terms of relationship at the time. So I was like, you know, anything that will make me feel something. The first song I ever wrote, I was probably like 7, and I remember it so vividly. It was about like princess and her castle, and how her castle was blue, but the other princess was pink, and she was like all pressed about it. I don't really remember how it goes, but I remember being so proud of it. I think I watched like a Barbie movie, like Princess and the Pauper or something, and like the pauper was like always in blue, and so I was like, I'm the pauper. Wow. My first role model is my mother, because she's a singer, and just as like a woman, I was like, oh, she cool, I like her. The biggest lesson she taught me was actually to be like as genuine as possible. She told me growing up in the industry, she didn't really have like a lot to say, because she just always went with what everyone wanted her to do. And so it took her a while to kind of learn to be like more independent and more confident in who you are. And so she told me like from the start, just be like you and confident and say what you think, you know. My first Instagram post was, I think it's of my family, like me and my family. If it's not, I'm sorry. I don't remember. I was just a huge like Instagrammer. I just love posting pics. I'm very narcissistic, I think.
I know you're a gamer. You like games.
I'm a gamer. I don't think this is a video game, but I used to be so into like online games and those like random like beauty ones, or like you just choose random outfits for a girl and you like screenshot it and like, oh my god, it's a game. But the first one I ever bought like with my money was like Minecraft. Yeah, because my brother played it and I was really like jealous, and then he wouldn't let me use his account, so I had to use my own money. I really like games where you kind of do it with your friends, so I like a lot of like PUBG, kind of like Mobile Legends. I was really into that. But lately I've been really into also like, you know, games for myself, because I've been kind of lonely lately, so I've been playing The Sims. Yeah, my person is like a doctor now, so that's cool. She's successful or whatever. Oh my god, my first trip to New York was actually in 2019. It was so fun. My favorite place to be. I love New York because you can walk around and like the people are just doing their thing, you know? Like, I love that. My first trip to LA was right after my first trip to New York, and it's not what I thought, because when you watch the movies, it's like, you know, the Hollywood sign, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I came and I'm like, wait, the Hollywood sign is like on the mountains. Like, I can't go there. I'm not like Miley Cyrus. I didn't hop up the plane on LAX with my dream and my cardigan. Like, that was not me. I was just like, girl. My first apartment on my own is still my current apartment. It's a studio and I love it. Being on my own for the first time is really weird because I've always just been with my family and kind of always had people with me, but I think it was necessary because all my friends are in college. So I was like really FOMO. I was like, oh my god, I want to be in college. I want to be doing these things. I want to be independent. And I think this was like kind of my taste of independence. And even though it was hard, I definitely felt like a sense of accomplishment. Like, whoa, I am an adult. Cool. The first concert I ever attended was, I think, a Linkin Park concert. My whole family had a phase where we all liked rock and like punk. But the one I remember like buying for was Twice, actually. So, you know, I saw my baby live. The first movie I remember watching was King Kong, and it was because my dad really wanted to watch it, and then my mom was like, bring the kids, and then my dad was like, why, the kids are gonna be scared, and then my mom was like, no, they're not. Fast forward, I was really scared, and so I started crying. My dad had to take me out. Ultimately, he didn't really watch the movie, so sorry, Dad. Hope you could have watched it another time. The first YouTube video I ever posted was, it was titled Hello YouTube, and it was just me like answering some questions, being weird, but it got a lot of views really quickly, which was really confusing. But I'm glad that that was the first video a lot of people saw of me because it was very like genuine and fun. My first red carpet was this like gala called the Unforgettable Gala, and it was amazing. It was kind of just like a bunch of Asian Americans like doing their thing, and it was really fun, and I was really nervous, but I met a lot of people who were really nice. Shout out Sean Wasabi, he was really nice to me. The first album I ever purchased with my own money is actually a Got7 album. But yeah, so I got like a bunch of photo cards and posters from it. It was the Eyes on You album. I think people's first impression of me depends. If I come and I really talk, it's like, whoa, she talks a lot, chill. But if it's like I come and I'm like, you know, like quiet, they'll be like, pushy, mysterious. I think the first makeup item I've ever inherited from my mom, because she has a bunch of makeup that she doesn't use, is her eyeliner. And I think it's because I saw my sisters use eyeliner. I was like, oh my god, you look so pretty. So I kept trying to do them. Also, my first time using eyeliner, I got rid of them using hand soap, which caused me to lose my vision for 2 hours, so do not do that. My first cell phone was like a black Nokia, and I remember because in the back, my dad wrote my name using whiteout, which caused it to kind of like flake off, so every time I took it out of my pocket, there's just like a bunch of like white flakes on my pocket. My first pet was this adorable cat. His name was Grayby, like Gray Baby, because he was like a gray cat. Sad thing though is that in 2 weeks I realized I was allergic to cats, and so we had to give them to a friend. But I still came by and kind of, I always had to use a mask and like gloves to pet him, but I was glad that I had a bond with him. If I were to get an animal in the future, I think I would really like to get like something that can be in a tank, like a fish tank. A crab, is that a thing? Can you get a crab? I want a crab. My first best friend, her name is Bia. She was my neighbor, and then she moved to like another city when I was probably 10. So we haven't really talked since because at that age we didn't really have like phones, so we didn't connect. But yeah, she's awesome, and I like we still kind of talk maybe like once a year just like say hi, but that's it. My first major award nomination, really random, was from Mama in Korea, and I won the Best New Artist Indonesia, which is really cool to think that like the first ever award I got wasn't even from Indonesia, it was from Korea. The first time I ever performed in a festival was for the Head in the Clouds festival in LA in front of 20,000 people, which is a lot. That was interesting. So when I woke up, I wasn't nervous at all. I wasn't nervous the whole day until I went in front of the crowd, and then my whole body was shaking. I was like, oh, because I came expecting that no one knew my song, but it was really nice to see that a couple of them knew my song, and especially there was like a group of Indonesians in the back that was like, yo, and I was like, yo. So that was really fun, and I don't know, it's just such an honor to come and perform for a lot of people, even if they didn't know me. I'm just glad to be, you know, out there entertaining. The first label I signed with is 88 Rising. I don't think of it as just a label. I think they're like this amazing group that kind of showcases Asian talent to an international audience. And I think the great thing about 88 Rising is they give spotlight to those who might not have it, and kind of allows us to just represent our culture and who we are to audiences that might not have known us. I don't really remember the first time I've heard my song on the radio, but I do hear them in public quite often, especially in restaurants. Especially like when I come in a restaurant and then I see like the workers like look at me like, and then they play my song and I'm like, ah. My first live performance was actually with my mom, and she was a judge in Indonesian Idol, and they just had this random like surprise where all the kids performed, and I remembered so well because it was actually we sang the song called Stephanie. My mom wrote a song like about me when I was young, and it was like the first time I'm performing and it was a song about me, so that was pretty fun. My first big purchase was actually a computer because I was really into producing and writing my own songs, but my laptop kept turning off because it was just like heating up. So I was like, okay, I need to get a computer that can handle all of this. It was a lot of money, but I saved up for it, and I'm glad that I can now write songs without being scared that it's gonna turn off. Alright, so those were my first. Thank you so much, Teen Vogue. And don't forget to check out my singles, Do You Love Me and Touch? Comment down below which one is your favorite. So I've been Stephanie Poetri. Don't forget to like and subscribe.